inspiring vision. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like John Cobb has like inspired the engineers for an ecologic civilization between China and the U.S. There's something about the visuals of these, cables underground and the grids and the using the sun. It just, I think it is so exciting. Do you understand what I'm saying? That it's kind of the Living Earth movement has infiltrated the engineer vision of how to do this collaboration and cooperation between the two countries to save us all. So I haven't been so excited about anything in a long time.
Yeah, I think that it's exceeding. You read what is it, about an 8-page paper?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hadn't read it all. I just read a little bit, but I'm so excited.
Okay.
And also he is so exciting. I loved him. I think he is an excellent communicator. He has a quality about him that is, I just find to be unalarmingly inspiring.
Well, I did put down that you and I had talked, and we think it'd be a good idea for us to ask him to be our speaker this month.
Well, I just offered this at the beginning of the meeting, not as an agenda item, but just to say I have such enthusiasm for what we're doing. And it's not like I haven't, but reading this paper, I realized that the practical applications feel to me like they have begun in a major way with this paper.
At least, unfortunately, he does not speak for the government of the United States.
Yeah.
No, but you understand what I mean. I feel like it's like you were on a mountaintop and you were the prophet who shared the vision to the world, and like the echo has come back.
Okay, well,
That's what it feels like to me.
That's a wonderful way to feel it.
Yeah.
Charles?
Yes, sir.
Oh, no, I thought you started to say something.
No, but it definitely fits into the morphogenetic agenda here, because we talked about what to feature for January, and the two of you talked about Roy, and the paper might be the perfect blessing to unwrap, gift to unwrap at that session, and build up to it over the next 20 days.
Well, I think we would just invite him to speak along the lines of the paper.
Yeah.
So we're excited about your paper, and we would like for all of the people who are connected with us to have a chance to hear you talking about these ideas. And we think it would be good to do it in a context in which questions could be asked, so forth.
Well, do the rest of you share my enthusiasm for this?
I mean, when I saw that, I thought that would have been a wonderful way of beginning our series.
Yes.
To show people what concretely might come out of that kind of cooperation. The practical matter is a long distance, but I think we should be excited about any little step. And this is a pretty big step to come out with a concrete plan.
And what about you writing to President Xi and President Biden as a follow-up? Thank you so much for our communication we have begun. And at my 97th birthday and for my 98th birthday, I am here to introduce Roy and this vision of, super grid connecting our two countries.
I'll be glad to talk to Roy about this. Whether he may have a sense of the best way to go about moving this into the practical political discussion.
But also just the way he uses the term ecologic civilization, John, it's like the man has gotten your prophetic call and has answered it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wonderful.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Charles and Ignacio?
Go ahead, Ignacio.
John knows I'm a little bit more guarded about it because I'm I'm not so excited about super centralization that this would imply. But John feels that there's a relative possibility of independence. You know, I mean, the I I think that the real problem now, as we look at alternative uses, alternative sources of energy, is that the main companies that provide the energy are the ones that have made these solar farms that are ridiculous, and these super huge wind producers of energy, et cetera, and it. I think that what the little place here in Altadena demonstrated is that you can be completely independent. In fact, they sell to the city of Pasadena. They sell back some of the electricity that they generate with a tiny wind a producer of energy, and with a tiny solar panel. So I'm a little bit more guarded. I'm not quite as enthusiastic as Bonnie is. That's where I am right now. And it'd be interesting to enter into more conversation first with the author, with Morris, and then see what else, how he replies to some of the concerns that I have. So the other thing is, I mean, to have a super grid would encourage super use. And I think what we need to do is to reduce the use of electric energy all over the place.
Ignacio, I am not an engineer. I don't understand any of that. And what you're saying sounds very, wise. The thing that I think I'm responding to is there is a visionary quality to this that I can imagine. And if we're talking about the United States and China cooperating, which is, I think, the heart of what we are committed to, this is the first time I have seen something that it was global in nature. This idea that if the U.S. and China did it, everyone would benefit and follow. And this is the first time I thought, yeah, this really could happen. So I don't understand the economics, and I don't understand the engineering of it, but
I think it's very interesting, and Ignacio is quite right that I have thought the best we could do, in fact, and I'm still suspect it's the best we can do, in fact, is to encourage localities to become as independent as possible. The vision of having a global system would be very distressing. I mean, I would not be happy with it if it were not that I thought that it could be composed of millions of local. I mean, that it would not reduce, but rather would probably increase the number of localities that would be producing their own. As I read what he wrote about it, it seemed to me that he said you can do it in all kinds of ways, but I think that it would encourage all the local production imaginable, and that if we had a big program of this kind, we would in fact get more localities. Now the twist here is that a local locality, I mean a local municipality, for example, could be producing, if it were hooked into this global system, would have enough for itself at a much lower level than would be required if the system broke down. And since I think that there are grave dangers that any global system will not be reliable, I would hope that we would at the same time emphasize the fact we need to have a backup position, that we would still have a reasonable amount, not the superabundance he's talking about, but enough to get by to do what we really need to do. So there's a lot that I would want to introduce into the plan, but I saw nothing about what he said that would discourage it.
Okay.
So that's why I do not have his worry. And I like very much the fact that it shows what could be done under a cooperative system that cannot be done under a
Right.
competitive system.
Yes. That's so profound.
It is. And it had nothing comparable to this that remotely occurred to me. So I'm very grateful for it.
The other thing is when he talked the other day, he said very casually, he said, yes, is he, I forget, what is he? Is he an engineer or a scientist? I don't remember. Whatever he is, what is he? Do you remember? I don't remember. But he said, I see, he said something like, the technology of how we are going to change and become more ecologic is abundant. He said something like, it comes across my desk all the time. That's not the problem. We figured out how to do these things. It's, how to get the nations and the problem of, the corporate problem and then the nation enemy problem. So he seems to be, he is bringing good news to us, that we need.
Yes.
Right.
Technologically, we could solve our problem.
But I don't hear many people that are as sophisticated as he is about the global issues that have communicated that as clearly as he has. And that is something I think if he could communicate that would be a great gift to everybody who would be participating.
The other thing that I would hope was part of it, and I don't know how he is, but I think he would agree that there are other problems, such as the destruction of life in the ocean, that would not be solved because we had abundant electricity for power.
Right.
And it's very important not to think of this as the one problem.
Right. No. They're all
I don't think he
interconnected.
does, but
I don't think he does either.
I think these are all legitimate concerns of Ignacio that it would be great for us to have extended conversations about with him. But that's one reason I don't want to rush into writing a letter
You mean to the president?
to the presidents.
Well, let's not, but I think it would be.
Right now, the problem, one major problem is that everybody knows there's a climate problem, and everybody associates the climate problem with the energy problem. I mean, they are very closely wrapped up, but we are so focused on that we often forget that there are half a dozen other things
Yes.
that are happening.
Right.
And also, I mean, there's that, and then there is the problem of moving from having a solution to persuading. I think this is a solution that governments could get excited about positively.
Mhm.
So that's why I don't think it's just, say, here's one nice idea. I think it's an
Yes.
idea that has a chance of being sold.
Right.
So that increases my interest in this.
Well, in his first sentence, he says this comes from 3 scientists, so
Yeah.
It's such an exciting paper.
Okay. Well, do either Ignacio, you don't mind having him speak for us, do you?
No. I think that the conversation needs to go on, but I agree with you, John, that it's early to write any kind of a letter at this point. I think that we need to understand a little bit more what this man is saying and entering into conversation, be it in one of our sessions or be it via email or whatever. That's worth pursuing. No question about it.
Okay. Charles, you okay with that?
Yes, Bonnie, I can't answer your question, but I'm excited about it because I've got a couple other priorities, but I'm very excited about your excitement and your passion, and assuming that he is featured at some point in time, I'm gonna get you to let us film you as part of the marketing materials to get people to tune in to whatever is being offered with Roy Morrison.
Well,
Okay.
I just loved him. I really did. I haven't heard a speaker that I have enjoyed more in a long time. I can't tell you why, but I just thought he was unarmingly authentic and inspired and well-spoken and obviously extremely knowledgeable and about stuff that I don't know anything about. And mostly when people start talking about stuff I don't know anything about, I just tune out. I'm not interested. So I think that's a gift he has.
Well, your comments about how relative this is to the purpose of the
Yes.
organization and to demonstrating it, those are the pieces that I would want to capture that would reignite as well as light fires, right?
Well, I am evangelical about our mission.
Well,
So,
I don't think there's any question, but that he demonstrates
yes,
that the cooperation we are pleading for could make a huge difference.
yes. And it's possible,
And it's
according
not-
to
it's not
engineers and
impossible.
scientists and people
No.
in solar
Yeah.
stuff and all that.
And if getting involved, if we could get our two governments cooperating on something like this,
Mhm.
the issue of whether one of them is subservient to the other might fade into a secondary role in American foreign policy, and that would be a wonderful change. So
You are a visionary. Oh my God.
well, we've had our foreign policy has included both elements. One, cooperate with China. Two, China be subservient to us.
Right.
Okay.
Number one enemy.
And my very first letter was pointing out a certain conflict between those two.
Right.
So it's directly related to
Yes.
from my point of view, our reason for having organized this.
Yes, I agree.